Hello, everyone. Welcome to another interactive English lesson with me, teacher Zdenek, and one of the students from the Achievers Chamber, which is a Discord group that I have for high-level learners. This time it's Maria Luisa. By the way, if you feel like you haven't featured for a long time and you are one of the Achievers Chamber members, please get in touch with me. We do have a chat. We have a separate chat where only the people that I know are interested in joining these are, because I don't want to annoy people who feel a bit shy or they just not up to it. Okay, so if you think that you haven't been here for a long time, just talk to me. We just need to communicate a little bit more. But Maria Luisa, welcome back. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm fine. I'm doing great.
I'm glad to hear that. So Maria Luisa from Italy, you've been a member for several months now, maybe 5 months or something like that, right?
Yes, I think so.
Very good. And this is about your third video, I think, for
Yes,
the YouTube channel.
yes. My third time.
Third time's lucky, or third times is the charm. Third time is the charm is the expression. Third time is the charm. Maria Luisa, there is something that I'm changing. I want to keep things fresh, keep things interesting. So I've decided to make these videos a little bit shorter now, so they won't be as long as they used to. And the feedback part, which maybe some people liked a lot here, but I feel like we need to change things around a bit. So this will be something that I will talk about in the members only podcast, which of course I will try to publish every week for our members, including
Mhm.
yourself. So you will get your feedback. It just won't be available for everyone. Yeah. So here we will
Okay.
just have a conversation. We still can have people asking us questions. We still can talk to whoever is watching. That's okay. But it's going to be also a little bit easier for me because I can make notes on a piece of paper. So that's slightly less challenging for me.
You need a lot of papers from my for my mistakes.
No, I won't write every single thing I either. Right? It's just some things. The point is, it's not a competition. It's not a challenge for me to write every single mistake that I hear. The point is to help the people that I talk to. Right? So if I write everything, then how is this going to help you? It's not. I need to pinpoint some important things.
Yes, and I
And we are
like it.
also, yeah. And today the topic, Maria Luisa, is because you are a teacher, you are a school teacher. So I thought a good idea could be for us to go through every single school subject, at least the most classic ones, the most typical ones, and then talk about how important we think these subjects are. We could even give each subject a rating on a scale from 1 to 10. What do you think?
Okay.
Shall we do that?
Yes, we can do that. We can talk about subjects at school and maybe at eventually I can talk about a subject that I love very much.
Yeah, why not? Why not? If there's some time left, why not? So
Okay.
let's go. So first, I just don't know how to do this. I guess I was just posted in a comment. So Maria Luisa, let's start with this classic subject, mathematics.
Mathematics.
So what do you think?
It's very important because especially in primary school is very important because the approach is very important because if you talk about mathematics like a games like playing with students, you can gain their attention and you can attract their minds and they will love mathematics forever in life. So the approach is very fundamental, I think, and mathematics is important because we all are surrounded by numbers if you want to buy something, you need your mind thinking with numbers. So I think it's in everyday life there are numbers. It's fundamental for students to learn mathematics.
And let's be honest, for a lot of students, it's also a bit of a nightmare because it's one of those subjects that a lot of people really struggle with. They just a bit slow. Some students are a bit slow on the uptake,
I was
and
one of them.
I wasn't exactly the best student either when it comes to maths. I was a bit lazy. I didn't do my homework, and as a result of that, I didn't always get everything. I was, let's say,
Me
um,
too.
yeah, I was falling behind a little bit, yeah, in
Me too.
mathematics.
But now I am a teacher in a primary school, so I have to start from the one level until five graduates. So I learn mathematics. I
Mm.
started from the basic primary
Basics.
school,
Mm.
first level. Now I'm in secondary, in second level of mathematics.
Okay.
Great.
So, Maria Luisa, tell us what score or what rating you would give to mathematics then, in terms of its importance
I
to the
think
world in the world.
9.
You know what? I'm going to give it 8. Yeah, just because I feel like sometimes it goes a little bit too far, and then you get into things like, I don't know, complex numbers and some weird things that I think most of us are never going to really use. But I understand it's important for those who are going to go to study at university. Those people need to know that. But I would give it 8. I think there are more important subjects, but definitely this is one of the most crucial
Difficult.
ones. It can be tough, yeah. Okay, moving on, Maria Luisa. So we now have let's deal with, okay, so let's say, so you're from Italy, so your first language is Italian, so this is the mother tongue, basically, when you have to study your mother tongue, right? So for you it would be Italian, for me it's Czech, for people that were born in the UK it would be English, yeah? So the mother tongue. So how important is this, Maria Luisa?
I think it's important because, as you know, in Italia, we have a lot of dialects. So maybe students that come to school, they know a different language. So if you learn the language of your country, you are able to understand everyone and everything. You can read books. You can speak to anyone in your country, and you have the possibility to be understood. So I think it's important. It's important to learn grammar and literature, I think.
Hmm. So of course it's all connected. You're right. It's like an umbrella term for all these subjects. Let's say, as you said, literature, grammar. Um, but what score would you give it then? What rating
Uh,
would you give it?
mm, I give Italian 8.
You see, I actually think that there is a case to be made for learning the language in a natural way. Like you learn from your parents, you learn from your friends, you learn
Yes,
as you become part of the society. Of course, at school
yes.
you kind of structure it more. You learn how to read, how to write. So I
Mhm.
guess that's important. Right? Learning how to write and how to read. That's of paramount importance. Yeah, I will give
Yes.
you that. However, I think there's also a lot that you don't really need to do. I've never really liked. That I was forced to read things that I never really wanted to read. and things like that. Yes, I'm not sure about the literature. I would give it 7 personally myself. I think mathematics is slightly more important, but that's just me.
I agree with you, but at some point, because a lot of people don't have the vocabulary, higher vocabulary, so they have to learn much more. And with poetry, with literature, we can improve their expression in languages. And think about Virgilio, the things that he said. Now they are very, very, very uh, near us. So I don't want to. I didn't want to study a lot of literature when I was younger.
Yeah.
But now I know that it's very important.
Hmm. Oh yeah, you of course you also learn about your own culture and where you come from, and a little bit it teaches you to be a little bit patriotic, which I guess
Yes,
matters as well. But
yes.
anyway, the next subject is history. How about
Is
this one, Maria Luisa?
I am my history teacher.
So you
So
are biased. You are
yeah,
biased.
philosophy and history teachers. And so for me, it's very important because if you know who you are, if you know your parents, your relatives, your story, your family, your background, you know who you are. And the same thing is about history. If you know your ancient, your
Ancestors.
background,
Yeah.
your background, you know your country, you know your culture, you know how things happens in your surrounding.
Hmm.
I think
So
that it's important for me. It's the maybe I would like to do history 10 because for me it's very important.
Maria Luisa, you are very biased, and you will be really surprised when you hear what I think it should get. You will be really surprised.
You like history, I know it.
It's not about whether I like it or not. I really think it's important. So I am going to give it a 10 as well. And I think it's I think it's possible that if you had asked me 5, 6, 7 years ago, I might have given it like 8 or 9. But I'm giving it a 10 because of the recent events, because of what is happening in the
I
world
know.
with the wars that we currently
Yes,
have in the world, and all the other stuff, and
yes. We
to do
haven't
with.
learned about our past anything.
I think we need to know more, and there are a lot of people who are just ignorant and who just refuse to learn the other side. Let's say, yeah. So there are
Yes,
obviously so many angles we can look at things. Recently, I've published an episode of the podcast about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and I admitted there that I don't know enough about it, and I am learning. I'm learning, and I of course there are different angles to the conflict as well, and it's not really easy at all. So
I
that's
saw it. Mm,
that's just one thing. Then there's the Ukrainian war, of course, in the war in Ukraine, and then you have got a lot of other conflicts. You've got a lot of superpowers in the world now, so it's
mm-mm.
kind of interesting to look at the international relations as well, and how it's all connected, and how it all always goes back to the past, right? It always
Yes,
goes
history
back to the past.
helps in this
And
case.
history repeats itself as well, and there's some kind of DNA in people, and a lot of people have a chip on their shoulder as well, like some kind of trauma, something they went through, and they carry it with themselves, and it it shows in the way they behave and in the wars they start, and it's so complicated and so complex. And I think it's absolutely vital to learn your history and to really know all the facts. There are so many people who deny certain historical events.
Yes,
some people turn a blind eye to what has happened in the world. So I'm with you. I give it 10. You are right. I also used to like it a lot at school. We had an excellent teacher, so that was part of it. I think the teacher was like one of the main reasons I liked it so much. But also,
Yes.
I think it's really vital, and yeah,
Yes. Mm-mm.
we need to learn from our mistakes, as well.
Yes.
So okay, let's go with geography then, Maria Luisa.
Geography is important, I think, and because if you have to know your past, but you have to know where you are, and the food that you are eating, the place, how they are in reality, if they are volcans in your place, if your place is big, is small, or is large, if you are the sea around you, if you are other places. I think it's very important to know geography. Because even if you want to travel all around the world, if you know better geography, you can go in another country, and I think you can manage to found places and road and things if you have the knowledge of geography.
All right. So what's your rating then?
Geography, okay, 8.
I have to say I used to like geography quite a bit, and now I'm traveling around the world and all that. But I think if you compare it to the other subjects, some of the subjects that we have mentioned, I'm not sure if it stands up to to scrutiny. I guess I would put it at the same level as the first languages. I would give it a 7.
Okay.
All right. Well, Noop says that Americans don't think geography is important, judging from the stereotypes. A very cryptic message, Noop. You're not really telling us the details, but that's okay. But good to have you in the chat. Okay, let's carry on with. Okay, let's do this one. PE, Maria Luisa. PE, physical education.
Okay. This is one day I prefer when I was at school, and I was very good at it. Very good. But I think it's important because students need to stress. Um, release herself when they are very stressed because of other subjects. They think about the hours that they spend in a class, sitting in 4 hours in a class, listening the teacher that maybe speaks for hours. So it's very important to do exercise, to change your class, go to the gym, and do exercise, run, be free for even if you are not free because you are with your teachers. The teacher have rules that are very important. I always said this to the kids. PE is important, but you have to follow the rules, because if you don't follow the rules, you can do anything.
So, what would be your rating of PE?
7.
All right. Well, personally, I really believe that PE is super important. I will give it a 9, and that's because it's come down to our health. Yeah, it's about health, and I think this subject is really underrated. It's underrated. It's not. it's not given enough respect it deserves. And if you build a positive attitude towards sport and healthy lifestyle, it's going to make you live longer in life. It's going to make your life more richer and less painful, in my opinion, and more fun. And I just feel like it comes down to health, really. So everybody needs it, especially nowadays when a lot of people have back issues and
Yes,
the, with the technology, we just sort of have changed our
yes,
lifestyle now, so it's even more
yes.
important.
I see this from the kids that are at school. They don't do exercise, enough exercise. They don't do anything. They are always with their computer or devices. So I think it's very important for them. Maybe I will do it 8, 9. Okay, you're right.
I've convinced you. Okay, let's talk about arts. So when I say arts, I mean we could encompass subjects like music, or let's say some visual arts, fine
Drawing.
arts,
Mhm.
drawing, painting, maybe drama as well could be part of this. But yeah,
Yes.
what do you think then?
I think that it's one of the most important subject, and because the things that you mentioned, you can do art with your body, with your ears, with your eyes, listening to music, drawing, and these things can improve your brain, your minds, can do a lot of good vibes in your minds. But I think even the neurons benefits from heart.
Hmm. So your score?
Then
What? Well, this is where we beg to differ, Maria Luisa. While I appreciate the benefits of art and what you said is completely true, I think if I were to compare it to every other subject that we have mentioned here so far and some of the ones that are about to follow, I can't help but give this one a little bit a lower score. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to go for a 6.
I don't agree.
I know you don't. I know you don't. I just feel like it's cool, it's all good, but I don't need to study about this. I can draw or paint without having to study about it. I can sing without having to study about music or how to sing. I don't know. Like, I understand that it's part of education and I don't want it to disappear. I'm not saying that. But if you ask me to compare the importance of all those subjects, then this one is the lowest of all for me.
No, 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 I don't agree because I see the kids how they improve when they are drawing, how they improve when they are listening to our music. If you teach them how to do things, it's unbelievable.
Hmm. All right, then, Maria Luisa, let's move on. Rup says the following. Oh, here's actually a question. Was it common in your childhood where PE was often substituted by other subjects since teacher had to keep up with their syllabus? I have experienced that a lot. I haven't really. That didn't happen to me. Did it happen to you?
Sometimes they do this. He's right.
Okay. Yeah, no,
Sometimes teachers do it.
that actually surprises me a bit. Okay,
Mm-mm.
I
It's
think I
not
think we
fair.
need I think we need to include this subject as well, biology.
Biology is an interesting one because it's the knowledge of your environment and it's about life. it's about experience because you can do test with biology. I think a lot of students love biology, and I think because of the method that the teachers, the way that the teachers do biology, teach biology, and so I think it's a great subject, and
So
if I have to, I would like to do 10 to every
you,
subject.
you you can't do that, especially because you have given some lower scores already. So
Okay, 9.
okay, so I have to also think about the ones that I've already given. So I've given history 10, I've given maths 8, I believe. And I think that biology for me is at a similar level as maths. I think it's very important to learn about the human body, especially how the human body works. Uh, what I would say is that in some cases, uh, I used to learn about things that were not that important. We went into too much detail sometimes about some plants and
Yes.
animals, and it was a bit too much. Like it's nice, but like also, is it that important if you live in a city, for example? I'm not so sure. Like it's okay. It's of course vital to learn the basics. Yeah, that's for sure. But for me, it's mainly about the human body. I think that's the most important uh, part of that. So that's why
My,
I give it a relatively high score of 8.
I can do an low score because biology runs in my family. My daughter and my son are at university. They are in biology. They are studying biology.
Well, that makes sense then. All right, Maria Luisa, how about this one? How about this one? Chemistry.
It's very tough. I know. I wasn't good at chemistry. It was like numbers. I don't know why. Okay, I can do a low score here. I don't know. I think it's important because to it's very similar to biology.
Yeah.
Biology studies things, and chemistry, I think, do the names at things, do the names, how they are made, study rocks. Uh, Even you can study things that are very bad, you know.
Hmm.
Chemistry can help people do something very bad for the human
You
beings.
you
Yes,
mean it teaches people how to make drugs or something?
yes, drugs.
Like you're
But
talking about like Heisenberg, the Walter
yes,
White from the Breaking Bad series.
and yes, and not only drugs, but atomics,
Bombs.
okay, bombs, atomics
Hmm.
bombs. The chemistry one was the who invented.
So what would be your rating, Maria Luisa, then?
Mm, it's very difficult to do. Okay, 7.
So I have to say I've quite a bad experience with chemistry, because I used to have an absolutely awful, absolutely horrible human being of a teacher. She was just, I can't use any positive words, and that's why she made it so not enjoyable for me to study that subject. And I have carried this attitude with me for a long time. But now, with the benefit of hindsight, I have to say that I agree with what you've just said. I think it's crucial. It's crucial to learn about acids and what sort of I don't know what sort of gases are harmful to the human body, and uh, I don't think it has to go into such a great detail when you start sort of calculating the formulas and things like that. I'm not so sure we need that. The periodic table is nice. I like that. It's actually quite a nice visual prop, but didn't like it. However, I might surprise you. I'm actually gonna give it an 8 as well. I'm gonna give it an 8,
Yeah,
but reluctantly, I have
yeah.
to
No,
say.
I agree with your rate. I agree.
I kind of want to give it a 7, but I feel like it's super important to understand.
Yes,
As similar sort of argument as with biology. I
yes,
think it's again it's to do with your health, with your survival. Yeah, you kind of
yes.
need that. You kind of need
Do
that.
you
Yeah.
know that a country, when it is at war, he call the chemistry at
I don't.
university?
I don't
Mhm.
understand what you. Sorry, I don't understand what you are saying now.
When a country is at war,
Ah, okay.
the politics call the chemistry from our
Uh,
university.
Politicians they
No
they.
call. They want the chemistry, the students from chemistry, because
Do you mean they want them to work for the government? Or
yes,
I'm not sure.
yes,
Ah, okay.
yes,
Also, like in war, of course, it's part of the warfare, which is not nice. But
yes. They are
well,
the
yeah,
important one. They are the important one.
yeah, I have to
Who
say, yeah,
is
as well.
studying chemistry?
What about physics?
It's another one that is very hard for me, and like the last one is very important. It's very important because our world is in shapes. It is made in shapes, so we have to know the type of shapes that we have in our world, and I think it's very important. Mm, you have uh, to think about this subject, because no, this subject can improve your thinking skills.
Hmm.
So I think it's very important, but I don't like it very much. So I
So
will.
your rating?
Yes, it's very low, 7.
It's a 7 for me too, and I agree with you. I don't like it. I didn't used to be good at it. It was, I think, if I look at all my subjects, history and chemistry, like all my sort of history, my study history, you would find that I got the worst grades in chemistry and physics. Yeah, but I'm trying to be reasonable here, and again, like what I did with chemistry, I gave it a high number. I think though I might give physics one number lower. I feel like yes, it is important, but the way it is taught at school these days, I'm not so sure it's accessible to the students. At least the way I learned. Maybe things have changed since then, but I just don't know. I feel like biology and maths and chemistry for me they are like above one level above that. I'm sorry to have disappointed some
Yes.
physics teachers watching us. It's just my
Yes,
personal opinion. Okay.
that's our opinion. Yes, I agree
Yeah,
with
yeah,
you.
yeah.
But
Okay. What about Maria Luisa? What about computer science or IT?
oh, yes, I think it's important, but I think that yes, if I thought about the past, if I think about the past, it was very crucial to know computer science when we was with the COVID inside our house. So everyone had to learn how use a computer, because we do lesson based with the computers. So I think it's important to know this subject, but I don't want to do an high score because I know that the kids are better than the teachers, so maybe they can. We can switch our um, uh, turn and they can teach us how
How to use computers.
to use a computer. Yes, they
So
are very
what would be your score then? What would be your score?
7.
Hmm? Yeah, I think I agree with your assessment. I will also give it a 7, and for the same reasons. I think for the same reason, I think a lot of kids nowadays know a lot, and it's such an interesting subject to learn about that a lot of kids will just pick it up as they go along in their childhood. But I think it's very important to have the computer literacy these days. I also think that the development is so fast that, for example, when I was a teenager, we did study about computers, but it
Yes,
wasn't back then. It wasn't as important as it is now.
yes,
The internet was barely alive. I think it was in its infancy, so there was an internet, but it wasn't as important as it is now. So it's a bit difficult for me to talk about this one, to understand it. But I feel like it's more important nowadays than it used to be, of course.
yes,
But then again, you have like places in the world where people don't have computers, people don't have the finances to buy one. So I don't know. I don't know. It's a difficult
or
one for me
internet.
for
Yes,
me to talk about. I'm gonna give it a generic 7 then.
you're right.
Okay, and I think let's do one more. Like, unless we have forgotten about something important, which in which case someone can tell us. I think I think we should just wrap it up with foreign languages, which is of course what I teach because I am an English teacher and I teach English as a foreign language or as a second language, if you want. Um, so, what do you think, Maria Luisa? So, for you, as someone in Italy, foreign language for you would be English, German, Spanish, right? French.
Yes, yes, I love foreign languages. I think that it's an important subject at school because it can apport good benefit in your brain, but not only that, because if you know a foreign language, you can go abroad, and if we speak about English, you can be understood all around the world. You can have friends that come from all around the world. I think it's very important, and I think. That maybe we have to do an effort in the way that it is taught in school.
I need to write this down.
Less grammar and more languages and speaking skills. I think it's better to improve speaking skills in
Right.
school.
Okay. Okay. So your score? What's your score? What's your score?
Okay. Mm, 9.
9. Okay. Well, I would be a hypocrite if I didn't give this a 10. Of course, I'm going to give it a 10. It's the most important subject, which is something all teachers would say about their own subject, right? So you can't expect anything else from me. No, seriously, it is the most important subject, of course, especially English, yeah. Uh, I mean, it's quite obvious, right? It opens so many doors for you. If you can
Mhm.
speak a foreign language, the more languages you know, the more you're able to make connections with
With
people,
others.
the more easily you can find a job.
Yes.
Finding a good job means a better life usually, right? You can move abroad, as you said. Knowing a foreign language allows you to work in that country where that language is spoken. So I
Yes.
don't know. I can't say anything bad about foreign languages. It's the most important subject alongside history for me. So yeah, there you have it. It's a 10 from me.
Okay.
Okay, guys, feel free to rate these subjects by yourselves in the comments, please. I would really love to see what you have to say, if you agree with our assessment, with what Maria Luisa and I said here, or if you have different preferences, which is of course okay as well. Maria Luisa, is there a subject that you are missing here in this list? Is there something that you would like to be taught at school as well?
Yes, yes. A subject that I love the most, for me, the most important is uh, emotional intelligence.
That sounds very specific. It sounds very niche, though. So would that be psychology or?
No, I think you can teach emotional intelligence, emotional with all the subject that we have picked here, because emotional intelligence is something that you have to know your emotion and
Yeah.
emotion that others. So you can teach emotion intelligence with art, with maths, with Italian, because you can use different way like role playing,
Mm.
and you can do this in English or in Italian. You can teach emotional intelligence with with storytelling, and you can say this story in English or Italian. You can use every subject, but if you don't teach with emotional intelligence and emotional intelligence, no one can succeed in life.
Mm.
Because
That's
I
interesting.
think, yes, I think that the most important thing is to understand others, understand how they are feeling, and be aware of your emotion that are inside you.
Mm. Uh, that's interesting for sure, Maria Luisa. Uh, I agree with you, but I would also say that everybody's different, right? So some people like to make connections with others, others don't. So for someone who is let's say, a hacker that lives in their own world, it's maybe less important, but I understand where you're coming from. It sounds like a niche subject to me, but why not? Why not? Also, some people might argue we could add economics or some sort of financial literacy to the list. Some people would talk about religious studies, which
No,
personally I don't want that personally, but we have all sorts of options. Yeah. So again, tell us what you would add to the list. We would be quite curious to know. This is the end. We have to go now. Maria Luisa, thank you very much for being the student today, for having a
thank you.
nice conversation with me. So if you're wondering, like, Zdenek, this was not a real lesson. Well, yes and no. Uh, I have made some notes. Yeah. So this is about Maria Luisa's English. It's some kind of feedback that she will be given. And actually, as I said at the beginning, the way I'm going to do it is that I'm going to record a podcast mentioning some of the mistakes that I have heard this week in the Achievers Chamber, including this YouTube video.
Okay.
And so we can talk about it. So if you would like to hear this podcast, then why don't you become one of the Achievers Chamber members? It's a great place where you can really progress in English. It's a place where you can meet international members, international learners of English with great, excellent English, some of them English teachers. This is a place where your English will really thrive. And also, you will have access to these podcasts where I correct people and I could correct you too if you join the events. So that's all from me for today. If you like this show, please give us a like. Don't forget, today I have been featured on Luke's English podcast as a guest. I talked about insects. So if you want, you can have a listen to that episode. And there's also I also have a new website, teachersdenek.com. So check that out as well. But I think I've already given you too much information. So I think we'll just have to leave it there. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Maria Luisa, again for being
Thank
here.
you. Bye
And
bye.
see you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye bye, everyone. Cheers.